What's good, family? It is Jenelle Hanes, your principal owner of Dusty LLC, for another episode of Documenting Dreams, specifically episode 9. Somebody could say 9, please. Episode. No. Yes, and I am, as always, super excited about my guests every show. Today's special guest is none other than Ulyssia Seawell of Organeyez'd Grind, and a very dear friend and someone who has just been doing some extremely unique things out here in the community, either through hair, sound, radio, you name it. She's been doing all these wonderful things out here. And so I'm just excited to have her here on episode 9. I am also your beloved president and excited person who is using Toastmasters as an opportunity to use my voice. So I'm also excited to share that I'm the president of Eagle 7 Early Risers. We meet every Saturday at 8 a.m. virtually. And this is an extension of the power of voice that I found through using Toastmasters. So I'm just grateful that I've been able to extend it to my own podcast, specifically called Documenting Dreams. And today I get to share this space with none other than Ulyssia Seawell of Organeyez'd Grind. So we're just going to jump right in. We're just going to jump right into this thing and just, Ulyssia, tell us, what is Organeyez'd Grind? Sell Organeyez'd Grind to me, please.
Okay, so Organeyez'd Grind, it started off as an artist management company. Worked locally with artists here with all kinds of needs they needed for their projects to come out. Then we started adding production and kinds of different services that we offer. So it's just the production house along with management.
And that's management of artists specifically, or what other type of management, or if there is?
So we're starting to expand to other types of management. So I don't have it completely ironed out yet, but yes, right now is local artists who needs our services.
Okay, nice. I love it. And so the Organeyez'd Grind, where did that name come from?
So I was watching a movie and they said something about an organized hustle, and I didn't want to use hustle because it was a different kind of movie. So I didn't want that, but I thought about that combination of words, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm organized, and at the time grind was a big word that was popular, and so I was like, yeah, I go hard on almost everything I do. So that's my definition of grind. So that's how it came together.
Well, that's awesome. That's a dope name, Organeyez'd Grind. I love the spelling of it. Was that something that came to you during that time as well, or you just evolved to, because I noticed you use EYEZD.
Yeah.
Where did that part come from?
So the spelling of the name, I didn't want to spell it regular. And so I reached out to some of my artists that I was working with, and I was like, this is the name of the company. Whoever spells it the most unique way, that's how I'm going to go with it. And one of the artists, Seven the Panther, actually came up with the name. And the more I look at it, the eyes part does stand out. And I was like, to me, it means like I have insight in everything I do. I keep my eyes on it. I'm very, focused and driven. So it's all in eyes. So that's how that came about.
Wow. Who knew? I love that. I love when things can just kind of come to you in a way that makes sense, not just for you, but for other people that are listening or paying attention, and they can kind of pick up on it, or it becomes a conversation piece, right? So it's like, oh, that's something different. Let me ask her about that. It sparks questions. They say the first person that starts asking questions is the person that's interested. So I would imagine you get lots of people interested just by seeing the name and the spelling. So thank you so much for sharing that. So
you're welcome.
Everybody has a story, right?
Yes.
I believe that, I speak it, I stand on everyone has a story. So I'm just curious, if you were to tell your story or have someone else tell the story. So it's kind of a 2-part question. Where would the story begin? And then if it was someone other than yourself, and it could be you, who would tell your story?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm actually writing my own book right now.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's going to be strictly about me. I'm in character development right now, but it's loosely based on me. And I started that book at your party way back in the day. But in that story, I was not in a place where I wanted to be. Not as far as your party, but I'm talking about in personal life. And I was dealing with some really hard times, and a lot of that played out at your party, and you didn't even know it was your birthday party. And so once I write the book, more of that will come out, but it sort of shows my growth from that point. And I think I was around 21. Yeah, I was started there, because at that point in my life, that's when I realized I needed a change. And I needed to focus on me more, love me more, and start, fulfilling my destiny.
Gotcha. And so was it something specific you felt like, if I grow from this, then I can get to a place where I'm thinking clearly, or, I can build on my hopes and dreams, or, what part of you did you start to grow first, and what part actually grew, if they're not the same thing?
Well, I had to figure out that I did not want or deserve to be in that situation, and what I needed to do to never be in that situation again. So yeah, that sort of fueled my focus and my drive to start businesses.
And so if someone was listening to your story, what thing would you want to resonate with them? Or I listened to Oprah's interview with Michelle Obama the other day, and she said something that lifted from the page was this thing. So what do you want to be lifted from your pages, from your story?
I want people to know that no matter what situation they're in, they can always do better. To not get stuck in certain situations when they deserve more, and to love themselves. Like that's the major part of growing, is learning to love yourself, learning to accept your self-worth, and going for your dreams, and not being afraid or let anybody hold you back from that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a message that I continue to hear from a lot of females that I'm connected to, or even males that are trying to encourage, females and support them, no matter what they're doing, whether it's, being an entrepreneur or in the C-suite. I feel like that's the message that's resonating in our community right now for a lot of us. And also, I think people are trying to create, those manuals right now. And I feel like it's so important that we find them and we listen to them, because everybody's story, has something for us to pull from. And so I'm just glad that you are now, on a quest to add to those manuals, if you will, to have your, our step-by-step guide for growing ourselves. So thank you so much for being brave and vulnerable, to share parts of your story, and then even add a little twist in there, because we all love the excitement, right? When we're reading stories, whether we know they're true or not, we can still relate in some capacity.
Very true.
So that's awesome. So tell me, what's one little known fact that nobody knows, even, maybe me, maybe your mom or your son? What's something that nobody really knows about you?
Ooh, well, I can't say my mom and my son do not know this, because they live, they see me a lot. But let's see, I cry at talent shows, like on TV, like like American Idol, all of that. I'm a crier. I'll be in there boohooing, because I see these people up there living their dreams and going for and just seeing their transformations, or just their shock of people clapping at them, applauding for them. Like, yeah, I'm a crybaby.
I love that, and I would have never guessed.
Right.
That would be the thing. For our listening audience, I've known this young lady since we were 5.
Yes.
That would not have been the thing that I would have guessed. For me, so that's awesome. That's a pleasant surprise. I appreciate that, for sure. So who believes in you the most?
it would definitely have to be me. Being a serial entrepreneur, as I call myself, always jumping for the impossible in some people's minds, or sometimes they say that's just a crazy, idea, and then it turns into something good. I definitely have to depend on me and believe in me to accomplish those, and not allow negativity to stop me or doubters to stop me. So I would definitely say me.
For sure. That's something. I think I had another guest who said the same thing. That's something I'm like, man, I feel like I need to grow up. I'm naming all these people that I know believe in me. My name on the list.
Yes, I mean, as being an entrepreneur, there have been times that nobody believed, or I felt that nobody believed. Yeah. So I definitely had to find that place.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like we came from a generation of parents. Actually, I know we did, who, 30 years in the gold watch, or 30 years and I retired from education, or
right.
30 years and, now I can spend time with my grandkids, or, and while there were entrepreneurs in my family, there was still this foundation that still stemmed from working a certain amount of years before you did that thing.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of us were willing to just jump out there and start a business or say, I'm going to be this thing outside of the norm, because, our previous generation, our parents taught us that, this is the way it should be done, because that equals stability, or, that right. equals somebody who is really trying to provide for their family, or, be successful, if you will. I think I love the fact that our generation is still working to dispel some of that train of thought that we can't just jump out there, when in fact we absolutely can.
Right. Right.
I think that's still holding some of us back too. If I can be honest, that's something that, to that point of, adding myself to the person that believes in me the most, that's something that I think our generation is slowly walking out of. I believe in me and I'm about to do this thing. And they're just gonna have to be all right. Right. I got 3 kids at the house and whatever, but I just believe in this dream so much so that mom and daddy, you don't have to worry. I got this. So I think that's great that, you're one of the people that are being added to that list, that are jumping out there no matter what they say. So is there one word to describe you?
Unique. Definitely unique. I mean, I know you'll never run into the same, a person more, there's not duplicates out here, clones that I know of. But I think I can honestly speak for my friends and say that they can say there's nobody like me. I'm definitely unique.
For sure. It's funny. The quote that I thought about sharing with you today, I thought about a couple of quotes, but then I heard one today and I said, oh no, this is the one. This is it. And I was listening to Willie Moore Jr.'s show, and he has a DJ by the name of the White Stone. And I tuned in late, but I tuned in just in time to hear him say that, God intended for us to be peculiar. And this is a season of being your most authentic self. God is lifting us in that place. And I think he's in our generation. And so I thought it was so appropriate to hear him say that. But the thing that struck me, which is why I changed my quote that I wanted to share with you and see what comes up for you, was, and I want to say it just right. He said, if you're not peculiar, you're not prepared to be paid.
Oh, wow.
And if that is not for an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur, I don't know what is. And
yes, so, definitely.
Yeah. So, tell me what that quote brings up for you, and I'll say it again. It says, if you're not peculiar, you're not prepared to be paid.
You're not, because you're not being your authentic self. Like, you're being the cookie cutter. If we're referring to music, the one-hit wonders, because they tried to conform to that way. Or, in any industry, when you do something the same way so much, it can get watered down. But when you're your authentic self, the wildest, craziest dream that everybody's probably looking at you like, what? You want to do what?
Mm-hmm.
That's that one thing that's going to make you stand out. And when you stand out, of course, you're going to get paid more because you're rare and it's different and it's fresh and it's new and it's never thought of before, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You get more money for that. And it's worth more money because it's one of a kind.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and just talk about childhood and memories and decisions and just life. Generally speaking, what is your first and best childhood memory?
The first and best childhood memory that I had was when I was dancing at the Shirley Badgett School of Dance on Hargett Street in Raleigh.
Woo! Black lady
Yes.
doing it for little black girls.
Yes. But that was like a happy moment. Like every Saturday, coming to see all the girls, and we're dancing and learning different styles of dance, and then actually performing on a big stage with the lights. Oh, I loved all that. That might have created a monster. That might have been the start.
Yeah.
But it definitely helped my creativity bloom. I'm a creative mind, and that was just major exposure to the arts.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you said your creative mind, and I'll just share a quick story that comes to mind when I think about creativity, specifically you. And one of the things that you and I enjoy doing, in addition to dance, was doing hair at one point, right?
Yes.
And we were braiding hair, and something that I learned important about creativity, I learned specifically through you, and I also appreciate, because I remember asking, I was going to Africa, and I remember asking you, hey, can you braid my hair? And you were like, sure. And I just had this thing in my mind, this vision in my mind, which, I came to learn I'm a visionary, but I have the vision, but the people that I ask to create the vision, I have to allow their creativity to flow. And that's usually, when I've gone against that, then it usually doesn't come out the way I want it to. And the reason why I learned the importance of creativity, or allowing people to be creative through you, is because while my hair was cute, I recognized that I limited your ability to do something really cute and for me, right? Or your ability to create something cute that came from you and others could appreciate. And I could say, oh yeah, one of my best friends did my hair, and it's this, that, and the other. And I learned that in that moment. And from that point, I started recognizing, okay, I have the vision, and God will attach me to the person who can create the vision that was intended to match with it. And I absolutely learned that through you in that moment.
Wow.
Point forward, it was like, okay, this is the thing I'm thinking. And either he would bring those people to me or he wouldn't. and I had to trust that, right? But there was absolutely a moment where I recognized that I should have just let you do your thing. If that makes sense. And
I remember doing your hair. I just can't remember what I did.
Well, it was crazy. I mean, it was, you and I both like different things. It was nice, but it wasn't, I didn't afford you an opportunity to do your thing, to be in that creative space. And because I struggle with the people pleasing and all the things that, I'm being more vulnerable about these days, and probably there was some control there, right? But I recognized that, because you were that important to me, that I should have, afforded that moment. I don't think I took anything from you necessarily, but my takeaway was, don't limit people's creativity. You know what I mean? If you are the visionary, you'll meet somebody with the process, you'll meet somebody else that can bring forth the vision. And doesn't have to be exactly what you're thinking, as much as you're having that idea, and God will connect you to the person who can bring it forth. So I thank you.
Wow. Well, you're welcome. I didn't know I was teaching a lesson at that moment, but
always.
I'm glad that you hold on to that.
Yeah.
You got from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time I have an idea, and again, he brings me to the person, and usually, if it's the right person, it comes out the way it's supposed to be. So, I learned that from you, my friend.
Oh wow.
So thinking about friends or just people that are influential in your life. I love to think about my friends as my elite eight. That's something that will resonate through my podcast and my shows. I have people that I'm very close to, but there are some distinctively important people in my life, and I got blessed with 8, right? And so that's why they're called my elite 8. So if you had to have your starting lineup, your Fab 5 or whoever it is, who would those people be? And again, you don't have to name them, but maybe tell what their attributes are and how they may be your accountability partner, your biggest cheerleader. So who would those people be?
Okay, I can tell you characteristics, and some of these characteristics are multiple in different people and mixed up and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say in my starting lineup, I would need the encourager.
Mm-hmm.
The one who on my darkest days, they're like, okay, girl, you can do this, get up, let's go. I need the person I can cry on their shoulders. They're not going to judge me. They're going to listen. They're going to be there. I need a hustler, and not in a negative way. But, as an entrepreneur, every day has not been a bright and sunny day.
Mm-hmm.
Some days I had slow weeks. Some days everything fell apart, and I needed that friend that's like, okay, look, I got some flour and sugar at the house. We can have a bake sale. We can bring out all these clothes. We gonna get you right, girl. We got you. Yeah. And then I need the pull up friend. And again, not in a negative way, but I need that friend.
But hey, if it's negative, listen.
Hey,
maybe it might not be negative, right? But it might be there's a negative situation, and I need to pull people to help me get through it.
Exactly. I know I'm gonna pick up this phone. That person is gonna be there.
Right.
And then I need that friend that's gonna pray for you. Like, to call somebody up and say, pray for me, you have to really trust that person. And because they are transferring a message to whoever they believe in, the Most High, the source of their life, they're transferring this message over to them to help you out. So you got to really trust the person. They're not going to tangle that message up. There's going to be an interference. We need them. So those are my top 5 things that I look for in my close circle.
Yeah, that's powerful though. That last thing you said was, whoever they believe in, when the message is transferring, people say from your lips to God's ears, you want to make sure that message is very clear.
Oh yeah.
And that person is not sending an empty message that's not something they truly believe, to be true or believe for you. And I think that's absolutely powerful when we consider asking someone or sharing someone that's so close to us, you know what I mean? That you need that person that's putting a real prayer on that thing and trusting the same God in some ways,
Right.
So I love that. And that's not a message for the masses. Wow. Because, people will easily pick up your hand and say, can I pray for you?
Right.
That's why you're like, Lord, if this is not you,
right,
send me aside. Kick me in the
Are
shin.
you praying? Are you praying? There's 2 different spellings of that word.
Yeah.
Which one, it's easy for people to say, oh girl, I will pray for you. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll pray. And they never even do. That's the prayer, It stops right there.
Yes.
Like, no, I really need you to be descriptive in this situation. I'm going through something, I can't even pray for myself. I need to make sure that go through.
Right. And sometimes, if you're just being honest with yourself, you start to think about it like, okay, to your point, everybody that's saying they want to pray for you, some people really do want to pray for you, and it is might not be top of mind, right? So oftentimes I'll find myself like being real, like I'm gonna be thinking of you, or I'll even say to people, if I come across your mind, just send me a heart or a prayer hand, you know what I mean, or something like that, because sometimes it feels like pressure, for somebody. And to your point, I don't even know what to pray. I hear, like, they asked me to pray, or am I saying what just need to be said? And sometimes, we got to decide, like, no, this is not the moment for me to to yourself. But yes, absolutely. That lineup is essential, I think, for any individual. But the prayer part just hit me. That hit different, for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so what is your legacy? What do you hope your legacy to be?
My legacy is, well, I want my legacy to be that you can do anything you set your mind to, for real. And that I did that to the fullest extent that I could, you know, and that somewhere along the way I helped somebody, whether it's learning something I didn't know I taught, or showing somebody the way in business, or just saying a kind word to somebody, you know, to encourage them along.
Yeah. So you said somebody, helping somebody. Who are the somebodies you hope to inspire?
I would say the most is little girls that look like me, little Black and brown girls who might not necessarily know the extent of their power and what they can do. Those will be my, if I had the top goal of reaching somebody. Of course, my child also, you know.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
But when I see little girls, when I used to have the salon and I would see the little girls come in and they would look around like, this is your place? This is your business?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like
that.
mission to be.
Yeah, talk about that some. So, you know, you had a salon and you were doing hair in the salon. You were selling jewelry. You had, you know, some beautiful stones in there. You had women coming, sitting and sharing a moment. You know, it was truly a salon. It was, you know, more than a space to just come and get your hair done. So what was that like to have that space? You talked about, you know, impacting little girls, but I feel like it was so much more. What would be so much more?
When people walked in my salon, they would sit there for a while and then they would say, I feel like I'm at home. Like, I want to kick my shoes off and lay back, and it just felt so warm because I wanted people to come in there and relax, have, you know, their moment. If we have to cry it out, sometimes if we was in there I know a lot of secrets, you know, being a hairstylist. Yeah. And then just hearing the different conversations, people's different point of views, and yeah, it was an amazing feeling to meet so many people, have them pass through, and just the experiences we had.
So what's next? So you had a salon, you're writing a book. What's next after? I mean, you're writing a book right now. Is that what is next, or is there the next thing that you want to try? Something after that you want to try?
Well, with writing the book, I'm sort of taking my time. I'm not trying to rush it, so I don't know if that's next or not.
Okay.
It's in the cards. It's one of the projects on the books, but I don't know if that's the one that's going to be it.
Okay.
I also have Queen Love Clothing Company, and I want to expand on that a little bit because since I had the salon, I was focused more on that, but developing little baby companies. Like you said, I could sell the shirts and the clothes inside, but I want to do more with the brand. And I also want to do something for missing Black and brown women and children. Right now, the estimated amount that I heard was 64,000 missing Black women and women and girls. That we're not even talking about the men. 64,000, but I heard maybe last week it's up to 100. I haven't checked those numbers yet, but 100,000.
That's worldwide?
That's America, USA. Yes. So I want to do something and I do have something in the works a project in the works where I want to bring attention and awareness, not only of their stories, but also what to do if you have a loved one come up missing, because nobody wants to think about it. Nobody think it's going to happen to them. But I have actually gone out on searches with people and met with families who have lost you know, they can't find them at the moment and they don't know what to do.
Where to start?
I mean, where to start.
Yeah.
And those first hours are crucial in
Yeah.
finding missing people. So I want to bring awareness to what to do, and that we have that many missing people
And
in America.
have you established, like, the first 5 things to do right now, or are you in the process of still learning? This is where we start.
I have some ideas.
Okay.
I can't say they're in concrete right now,
Mhm.
but as I go along and I meet with different families,
Mhm.
and I don't go as a big company. I'll just show up to when they're passing out flyers, or we're walking through the woods to look for them.
Yeah.
I don't even know some of these people, but just to show up, like, yeah, your community cares about you. I care about you. I heard about the story. Let's do what we got to do. So those things are what's pretty much in place right now, and I'm learning from those situations what is needed. And that's where I came up with, people need to know what to do.
Yeah.
Just you have your fire drills, you have your tornado drills. You also need to plan, like, what to do in those crucial hours.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. That's powerful. And as soon as you get the top 5, 10, 20, whatever things to do in those moments, because we talk about how to stay safe, but the reality is sometimes we can't prevent these things from happening with all the things that we can put in place. But once they happen, what do you do? And I think that's a beautiful quest for someone to work toward. So again, I thank you. I thank you for the things you're aspiring to do and bring attention to, and being that that neighbor who says, you know what, no, we got to come together. I'm doing to others as you would have them do unto you. I would want somebody to help me look for, find my loved one. And so the fact that you're doing that thing, I feel certain it's going to come back to you 100-fold in some capacity. Not because someone's lost, but you'll be blessed because you've sown some really beautiful seeds. Okay. Well, no, not yet. I want to skip this before we get to that part. But one last and probably deep question. We went a little deep, but then we'll get to the light stuff in just a second. And maybe this is not so deep. But what is the hardest decision you had to make, and who did it impact?
I would say the hardest decision I had to make would be listening to myself. Like I said before, that I believed in myself, but then I had to listen to myself because all the outside noise, people saying do this way, that way. I had to listen to the voice that's in my head that says, okay, you got this. You know what you want to do. You know what your dreams are. This is your vision, nobody else's vision. Like I read Tabitha Brown's book, and she said, like, my prescription for my glasses, this is not a direct quote, but my prescription for my glasses may not be somebody else's prescription. Like they might not be able to see out the glasses at all. So therefore I have to listen to myself, because I'm the only one who's visioning. Like you said, you're a visionary. Yeah. And I do have issues with trusting people to bring that about, but I had to set the foundation before I could bring people in and really just, okay, this is what I want.
Yeah, for sure. Checking in with self, again, it's invaluable. We underestimate the value of checking in with self, checking on self, checking self, right? And trusting self. To the point of listening to yourself. That is something that, we have to do intentionally.
Yes.
And by that, I mean, setting aside a time, to do it. In a recent therapeutic session, that was one of the things I discussed, that, the question was asked. So, I was excited about the podcast, and like, yes, this is my happy place. And, and my therapist was like, well, how did you do it? I said, well, these are the times that I record. And she said, it seems like you set times for this thing. And I was like, yes, I did. Where it once felt like, how am I going to get these things done? Have this goal, have this vision. I just can't see it. I can't see it right now, running behind my kids and, trying to be intentional with the time I spend with my husband and just all the things. And I was like, and to that point, sometimes it takes somebody to kind of check you. To, you know, I was doing my self check-in, and she reminded me that I could find time, and I had found time, and I'm doing this thing that I enjoy and love. And so you can keep doing, you can find a way to make sure you're having that self-care and that self-awareness. And I continue to be attached to people who are doing that thing. So I feel like, you know, what we're doing, what you're doing, and what I'm trying to do is going to continue to, it's going to propel a lot of us in a lot of ways. And I hope that a lot of females, especially our brown and Black females, will do that thing. Do that thing. And so through Organeyez'd Grind, and just be, you know, collaborating and finding a way to do it in our own way, I feel like there's lots of opportunities for our community to get stronger. And so I'm glad that Queen Love and Organeyez'd Grind and the hair shop are all conduits for that opportunity. So again, thank you. Okay. Now, for some spontaneity.
Okay.
This portion of the show is called Finish That Statement. And I know I shared some of the statements with you, but I threw in some new ones just to kind of change it up. It's about being fun and spontaneous. And so I got a few different ones in there. And I just want you, whatever comes to mind, you just share it. Okay? All right. I
am the ruler of my destiny.
Ooh, yes. Yes. My why
is my son. Definitely.
Yes. When I hear blank, I'm running to the dance floor.
Oh my goodness. Okay. If I ruled the world with Nas and Lauren.
That's a good one. I know all the lines too.
Color Purple.
I know that's right. People think I am, but I am really.
Some people think that I am, like, just because I try to stay in a peaceful space and that I am soft-spoken sometimes, or, you know, sort of quiet sometimes. They think that I can be a pushover, but not so much. Especially in the industries that I've been in, I had to learn, like, no, I got to stand up for myself. So.
Those people surely don't know you, my goodness. I get really nervous when.
Oh, I get really nervous when I walk in a crowd of people. Yes.
You want to expand on that, or you want to leave that right there?
I can expand.
Okay.
So I was going to use the fact that I'm an introvert for the people think I am, but I'm not. But I think people know by now that I'm an introvert. And so, like, it's so crazy because, like, I could be on a stage in front of a crowd of people and I'm good. Like, if on the mic and stuff, like, I have no problem. But you talking about me walking, like, through a crowd or whatever, like, no, I get really nervous. That's the introvert in me. Like, I want to go home. I used to throw house parties back in college, right? And I would be in my room with the door shut. And the party is going on out. Yeah.
You're like,
serious.
That's for y'all, not me. Have a good time.
Right.
When it's over.
Yes.
Oh,
I am. Yeah.
Well, and thank God for your discernment of the people that came, because I mean, you could walk out to anything crazy.
Right.
Have to clean up something, who knows what.
Yes, I had some trusted people there that could, you know, handle the crowd and everything. And I would walk through every now and then, but no, I was going to my room. I got my plate. Hey, how y'all doing?
That's funny.
Peace.
That's one of those scenarios where you be like, I had a praying grandmother. Was I?
Yes.
Were there things involved like drinks and?
Yeah.
I was on the other side. Only what was happening? And you were like, but I'm good.
Yeah, I was good.
That is funny. That should have been the little known thing that you shared, because you know, I'm not gonna name no names. You had some protective friends, and had those protective friends know they're happening, there would be no Lisa on the other side of the door. Hilarious.
But I made it. Hey,
I still think you got a praying grandmother. Even if her name wasn't the same, even if her name was my grandmother's name, there was somebody out here praying for you. Well, that is so nice to hear all of the things. Some things I thought I knew, some things I knew, some things I didn't know. And I'm so excited that you got to be my 9th guest.
Yay!
And a part of Documenting Dreams. And we are almost at the conclusion of our first season.
Yay!
Woo, woo, woo. So excited. There's so many great things on the horizon. I can't wait for the listeners to be a part and get to hear what's coming next. And something that I want to share with the audience is that Organeyez'd Grind is the executive producer of Documenting Dreams. So it's only appropriate to say that this episode is brought to you by none other than Organeyez'd Grind LLC. So,
definitely.
Thank you so much for being here. I am honored, and you honor me by being here. And I just know that great things are upon us, because we are, one, speaking our truths, we're sharing our dreams, and we're not afraid to be bold and let the world see what we have to offer. And I'm so absolutely proud of the things that you have done, that you're doing, and are going to do. And especially since you are on a quest to make sure that our Black and brown girls have an opportunity to be successful. And so thank you so much again for being here. This includes Documenting Dreams. Another ordinary person doing extraordinary things out here in this world has shared their dream on my podcast. So thank you so much for being here. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. And I thank you for having me on your first season, having me on your team for your project. I'm so very, very proud of you. I never knew this was something you wanted to do. So knowing my production in and what you want to, hey, I'm here I'm trying to figure out where on my list of friend qualities this is, but I'm pulling up and I'm praying. And this is going to be successful. So
thank you.
I just want to thank you for taking me on your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you for being a part of the journey.
Yes.